Okay, we already covered why white flour isn't so great for us. Let me teach you your options, and there's a lot of them. So there's a PDF below that's going to go through more in detail how to sub in different flours if a recipe calls for white flour. But I wanted to show you so you can see it. I think sometimes that makes it easier. Okay, so your first option is if it calls for a cup of white flour, whatever you're making, you can substitute kamut. And this is an awesome grain. I absolutely love kamut. This is a sister to wheat. It's in the wheat family. It actually was first grown in the 1950s by a Montana farmer that went back. He was stationed abroad and he got 36 or some odd number of these kernels that were, the story is that they were straight from Egypt. So he came back, he planted them and grew them. So this is a very ancient grain. It hasn't been changed at all. It's the same grain that people have eaten for thousands and thousands of years. The awesome thing about kamut is it's really buttery. So it gives the best flavor to cookies, muffins, cakes, anything like that. It is so, so yummy. I promise you, you're gonna fall in love with kamut. So if a recipe calls for 1 cup of white flour, you can do 1 cup of kamut flour. Now kamut's really great for anything that doesn't have to rise. If it has to rise like bread or focaccia or rolls, kamut doesn't have enough gluten to really get that rise. So this is kamut. And I'm gonna teach you in a minute how you can grind it down into flour, okay? Then the other option is spelt flour. And I love this, it's already ground for you. You can just buy it. This is 1 degree and I've used this a bunch and I really, really like it. Spelt flour is actually 60% higher in protein than wheat. It's another sister to wheat, as well as kamut. Kamut's higher in protein as well than wheat. And it's higher in some of their vitamins and stuff too. So spelt, it absorbs a little bit more liquid, but I just substitute it 1 for 1. If you notice in a recipe that it's a little bit drier, just add a little bit more liquid in. So that's spelt flour, and spelt flour makes amazing bread. It makes the best bread and it has the best flavor. It's this nutty, yummy, you are just gonna fall in love with these flours, guys. So this is spelt flour, that's 1 for 1. Another option is white whole wheat, and I love this brand. This is, sorry, my throat is this is Wheat Montana, and it's Prairie Gold 100% whole wheat flour, but it's the white whole wheat. And a lot of times white whole wheat is labeled as whole wheat pastry flour. So you can use this 1 cup for 1 cup. And the benefit to this over normal wheat flour is the taste. It has the best, lightest taste. You can't even taste it at all. So it doesn't have that strong, wheaty taste that sometimes is really yummy in breads and things like that. But for more cookies or anything like that that you don't want that wheat taste, this is an awesome option. Okay, so all of these are just 1 cup for 1 cup of white flour. Super simple, super easy. I'm gonna show you one more flour that I absolutely love. And this was made up by Chef Brad, and he made this because he would make these whole grain cookies and they would just sit on his countertop, nobody would eat them. So he came up with this flour to be lighter and taste really good so that people would just eat it, his kids would eat it up. So, and I promise you, it is so yummy. So all it is, it's brown rice. I'm just gonna you can use any type of brown rice. I use the cheapest one, long grain. And then barley, I'm gonna put the barley in. And then spelt, and this is what the spelt kernels look like. So I showed you the ground down flour. It's a little bit smaller, kamut's a little bit larger. So this is spelt, and I'm just gonna mix them together. So you just want equal parts. I did 1 cup, and 1 cup, but you can make up to 5 cups of each, whatever you want. I'm just gonna mix them together like this. And then I'm gonna teach you your options for making flour. So either you can grind it up in your Blendtec. I know that Vitamix has a different setting too for making flour. I think they have a different jar. But with the Blendtec, you're just gonna put it in and you're gonna put it up until it blends it to a fine powder, and then you have your flour. If you want an even finer grain, like it's a finer flour, it blends it up even more, you can use a grain grinder, and I absolutely love mine. The only problem with it is it shoots out flour because I lost the little piece that goes in. So sometimes it shoots out flour, so I usually do it in the backyard, and it's snowing right now, so I don't know if we're gonna turn it on, or else we might have flour everywhere. But I'm gonna show you in the Blendtec how easy this is. Now with this Wonder Flour, you're gonna use 1.25 cups of Wonder Flour for 1 cup of white flour. This one doesn't have enough gluten to rise, so it's not good for breads, rolls, focaccia, anything that needs to rise, but it's excellent for cakes, cookies, muffins, quick breads, any of that. It's so yummy. So I'm just gonna pour it in, and then I'm going to grind it. I'll turn it on. Okay, so make sure that it goes for the entire cycle. You want it really ground down so you don't have like little chunks of grain. But as you can see, it's just made an awesome flour. Super easy, super simple. Now you can take the white flour out of the pantry and bake with all of these other awesome options.